You know, I've read passages over the years that get repeated, obviously, throughout ongoing years. And yet, I don't think I've really focused on the Transfiguration as closely as I might have. We're talking about a change in appearance. Simple, right? Well, it's not that simple. We're talking about Elijah and Moses. So there's some complexities here, and then there's the apostles. Anybody have any idea what was going on when Peter was talking about building huts for Elijah and Moses? Why would that probably not have been a great idea? Well, probably because Elijah and Moses were sacred. And the idea of, there's something about having Elijah and Moses sleeping in a hut. It's a little difficult for me, And Jesus too. He's going to build one for Jesus, and that was a wonderful sentiment. But Peter oftentimes seems to be stepping on his own feet, much like me, this boot that I have. I do tend to walk on. But there's some other interesting things going on here, and I want to talk a little bit about it, educate you a little bit. A song of ascent. What is a song of ascent? Psalm 126 is a song of ascent, and I'm going to read it to you. When the Lord restored the fortunes of Zion, we were like those who dream. Our mouths were filled with laughter, our tongues with songs of joy. Then it was said among the nations, the Lord has done great things for them. The Lord has done great things for us. And we are filled with joy. Restore our fortunes, Lord, like the streams in the Negev. Those who sow with tears will reap with songs of joy. Those who go out weeping, carrying seed to sow, will return with songs of joy, carrying sheaves with them. Many of the songs celebrate the Lord our God. But now we're talking about the Transfiguration, where God the Father acknowledges that this is His Son, the chosen, and we need to listen to Him. But there's something that occurred with the Transfiguration that I'm sure that Peter was reflecting on when he wrote his epistles, because he talked about being an eyewitness to these things. Peter was an eyewitness to the Transfiguration of Jesus Christ. Can you imagine what that was like? To see these figures, just great souls and minds, on a mountain, and have light shining from them. Where does the light come from? I don't see this light as, hey, let's grab a can of spray paint, spray it white. That's not what I'm seeing. The light comes from within. And seeing that and recognizing it may be hard if you're not used to the experience of seeing what Peter and his buddies saw that day on the mountain. What a wonderful sight. And yet there's so much that we need to learn about all these things. I got something else I want to talk a little bit about, if I can even pronounce it. It's a word that I saw when I never know where my studies are going to go when I'm doing a sermon. I could end up 1,000 miles away. And here's the word. And I want to see if anybody knows what it is. Pseudepigraphal. Anybody know what pseudepigraphal means? Gail, you ever hear that?
Yeah, but it's not fair for me to answer that.
I appreciate it.
I imagine Suzanne does too.
I mean, you hear a term like that, and it's something that kind of sticks in your mind. But it has to do with whether or not 2 Peter was actually written by Peter. In spite of the fact that it says that Peter wrote it, and he said he wrote it, there are some people over the years, and it's true of a lot of areas of the Bible, people have to look at things in such detail that they find something wrong with it. And evidently there is evidence that somebody other than Peter wrote 2 Peter. Well, I don't have time for all that, I really don't. I have time for Peter, and I have time for Peter's ideas. And if Peter is talking to me about the Lord, and about the glory of the Lord, we've been talking about a lot of stuff with Jesus over the past few weeks. But now we're witnesses. We're witnesses to the glory of Jesus Christ. Is it enough to acknowledge it and get on with your life? I don't think so. I think there's more here. My gut is telling me that we could be looking at the Transfiguration in more than one sermon to really understand it better. Some questions we don't answer very well for ourselves because maybe we just don't have the knowledge. Like, what's next after this life? It's a heavy question, huh? Nobody knows the answer to it. Don't tell me we don't worry about it, because we do. Most of the time, probably in the quiet of the night, we think about those things. Other questions. Where is proof of God? I believe music is proof of God. I truly do. If there is no other evidence in the universe, music is evidence of God. How else could it happen? How else could those creative minds in the world from the very beginning of time manage to put harmonies and melodies together? I believe that's inspired by God. I believe that there's also those quiet moments in the middle of the night when some of the greatest songwriters write their songs, because they are inspired by God. And what I would say to you now, in regards to the Transfiguration, it's something we should seek. We should seek the shining light. We should seek it in ourselves. We should seek that dazzling light in the lives of others. I think if we can do that, it will be a better world. Amen.
Amen.